Chris, as I'm sure you'll know, all best man speeches are full of rude references and sexual innuendo. But please be rest assured that he has promised me that if there's anything slightly risque, he will whip it out immediately.
Yes, he will.
Ooh, yeah. I've got a few props.
Oh my god! What's going on here?
Thanks, chaps. Great speeches. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess this is the one you've all been waiting for, eh?
Yes!
No pressure, eh?
No.
Let's see that there. Has everyone got a drink?
Yes!
Good, you're going to need it. I'd like to start by thanking Dave for asking me to be his best man, and to Meg for letting him ask me. I'm sure you'll all agree that it's been quite an emotional day. Even the wedding cake is in tears. They get better, honest. I recently read that marriage is a 50-50 partnership, but anyone who believes that is clearly knows nothing about women or fractions. I've actually been a bit nervous about this speech, so I bought a book on how to be a best man, which said that my primary job is to make sure that the groom's face and hair are in order. But I thought, if God couldn't do that for him first time round, what chance have I got? To be honest though, I'm only here for 3 reasons. To have a good time, free beer, and I didn't have to pay to get in. I guess it's not so different from the rest of you. But before I get into the main speech, I do need to make a short disclaimer, as it dawned on me earlier this week that both Dave and Meg are lawyers. Most of their friends are lawyers. Even the vicar is an ex-lawyer. In fact, can I just get a quick show of hands for all the lawyers here? Good job I took out indemnity insurance. So I've prepared a document which you're more than welcome to read in your own time. There's a few important points in there, but yeah, I recommend you read that. But I will summarise the main points. So, all content contained within this speech is purely factual and is no way being exaggerated. Number 2, I take no responsibility for any damages caused to personal property, emotional distress, or physical injuries as a result of this speech. Some of the content contains an adult humour. For those with children here today, I apologise. Right, now we got that out of the way, onto the speech. I first met Dave in the 80s. As we've all known, Dave has never been one to be afraid of the sound of his own voice. In fact, this has been an issue for as long as I can remember. When Dave was around 10, we went on a lads' weekend to Antigua, a perk when your dad works for a well-known airline. Anyway, we were on a catamaran tour of the island. Dave, do you remember Emma?
I do remember Emma. I do indeed.
She was mid-20s, blonde, big boobs. She was the girl all the guys wanted, and she definitely wasn't a virgin. Anyway, we were mooring up to the beach, and Emma was fretting about getting into the water. You know, you can imagine all the macho men surrounding this young girl, you know, trying to coax her in. Anyway, suddenly this little voice shouted, "Oi, Emma!" Everyone turns around. This pasty kid, this scrawny pasty kid sipping his umbongo. "Just get in there, you pussy!" If there was ever a way to break the ice, that was how you do it.
I remember that.
David's also not one to shy away from casual nudity. In fact, on that same trip, we managed to find a deserted beach and decided to strip off to reenact famous movie scenes. These included Moon Beach, Saving Ryan's Privates, Free Willy, and the Loch Ness Penis. Standard father-son bonding stuff, you know? After around 30 minutes of frolicking in the water, this old lady appeared out of absolutely nowhere. And the irony was, she was completely non-emotional about what she had just witnessed. Instead, she just gave us a couple of seashells to cover up. Despite often being loud, Dave is also straight to the point. A couple of years ago, he was on a surfing trip to Nicaragua, which is surprising enough considering he doesn't even surf. Anyway, it was my 30th birthday whilst he was away, and he sent me a heartwarming WhatsApp message, which read something like this. Happy birthday, bro. Lots of love. Mum made me say that. These were the key moments that as a brother define a true bond and an unbreakable friendship. Life growing up as brothers was full of pranks, from pushing each other into the pool at any given opportunity, writing our names in the snow with our own wee, seeing how high we could get onto a rope swing and face planting into a tree, and my personal favourite, poo sticks. Now our version of poo sticks is slightly different to what you think it is. It mostly involved emptying the toilet tanks of a moving boat and then pushing our youngest brother Andy into the water. Sorry. Cool. Even though there was rivalry growing up, we would always look out for each other. I remember once rescuing Dave from the fields of Ferndown Leisure Centre as he'd been out late. I don't think I've ever seen Dave that drunk, except for on the stag. Don't worry, bro, I don't remember my first beer either. Cool. So Dave had many jobs growing up, from lifeguarding to paintball marshalling, but somewhere along the lines he decided to pursue the life of an honest, hard-working lawyer. There's a question mark at the end of that. Shortly after graduating, Dave decided to move to London, where he was sharing a flat with a friend. During this time, his love life was pretty much on hold. Well, that's what he kept telling us. We shall know it as the Dark Ages. Dave, if there's one thing that marriage teaches us, it's that all past transgressions are forgiven. So then, now that Dave and Meg have officially tied the knot, I'd like to ask that if anyone was given a key to Dave's flat, if you could please place it in this jar and no more will be said. If you can come up and...
Come on, what is this? Come on.
I made a copy.
Thank you, everyone.
Come on, I will never forget that.
Sorry, Meg. Sorry, Meg.
I've got a spare as well.
Oh dear.
Oh, wow.
It's warm in here, right? Sorry, mate.
My bad.
Gross, wow.
Oh dear. It's alright.
David's tempted by the idea, Dave.
There's a few that couldn't make it today. So, swiftly moving on. I have to say, I was rather relieved when Dave called me up to say he had a girlfriend. I remember it well. He said to me, mate, I think I found a bird. She's absolutely banging.
Use those words.
I had my first proper opportunity to get to know Meg during a 2-week adventure to Thailand. Dave and Sam were there too. We travelled all over the country and the various islands. It was a dream holiday and it was amazing to see Dave so happy. Despite the mosquitoes, the smell of Bangkok, the shits, almost missing our flights, spending 12 hours on a noisy train, and of course, the moped incident. At the end of it all, I wholeheartedly knew that Meg was the one for Dave. So what's it like being in Unum? Well, I guess my wife is best placed to answer that one, but I'll give you a few pointers. So, when speaking to any customer services on the phone, you have to pronounce your surname at least 5 times. It's N for Noddy and M for Mother. No, we're not related to a famous salad dressing. All Nunums have our own time zone, NMT, or Nunum Mean Time, which is usually an hour behind standard time.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, this morning. Being in Newnham carries certain traditions such as port rounds, cheese boards,
Yes.
and pouring champagne on one's face.
Yes.
To be fair though, Meg, the way I've seen you down a bottle of Prosecco, I have full confidence in you. Becoming a Newnham is no small feat. In fact, successful admission rates are historically low. 99% need not apply. Admittedly though, today is not the first admission in recent times. Earlier in the year on the Stag Do, we initiated Mr. Neil Rose into the family as he took up the mantle as an honorary Newnham. I won't go into detail about the initiation ceremony. Speak to me later. In addition to being a Newnham, another famous tradition is military story time with Dad. For those who have never heard any of his escapades, I'm sure Dad will like to entertain you at the bar later on. Typically these stories go on for hours and would be accompanied by a round of porter, as well as a toast to the Queen from Mr. Vice. Of which, on that note, I acknowledge that I have yet to propose a toast. Therefore, can I ask Mr. Vice for a toast?
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding. The Queen!
Thank you. How you doing, Dave?
I'm well.
Good. Just getting to the good bit.
No. More champagne.
So it wouldn't be a best man speech if I didn't mention the Stag Do. For those that don't know, it comprised of 16 guys on a week-long ski stag in the skiing mecca that is Bansko, Bulgaria. We were known as the Bansko bitches. We had a cracking time, didn't we, Feroz? Sorry, mate, I won't rib you too much. For 7 days and 7 nights, we skied and après-skied, and not once did the stag falter. He was, without exaggeration, a machine. So, now on a typical family ski holiday, we would have a daily nomination where someone makes a fool of themselves, and I felt it only right to carry on this tradition for the ski stag.
Really?
Each evening we would nominate an individual and the winner would receive the Dick of the Day trophy and a shot from the shot ski. Various winners included Neil for losing his glove and getting James to walk up the mountain to go find it. For Feroz for pretty much missing his first day on snow ever and then breaking his ribs. James Newnham for stacking it on ice. James Fay for stacking it on snow. And me for just stacking it. But there was one person who didn't receive the coveted award. Therefore, this nomination is for showing us all up on their own stag do. In fact, so much so, we had to arrange a second stag do just to try and ruin him, of which he failed at miserably. Dave, I couldn't bring the shot ski, but I have bought you this trophy.
Here we go.
We'll have to do a shot. Meg, don't get too excited, it's not modelled on Dave. In fact, Cy Jens provided this. There was one moment for me personally on the stag do when I had absolute clarity about what it meant to be a brother, a friend, and a father. It was in one of our favourite live rock establishments. Dave was dancing on top of the bar in an 80s all-in-one ski suit. The bar staff were lighting flamethrowers and napkins were flying everywhere. Oh, it was mental. I'm not entirely sure how it happened, but all of a sudden Dave's ski suit was down by his ankles, and without hesitation, one of the bar staff inserted a flaming firework into his arse. Like a true hero, Dave embraced this opportunity and continued to show off his new anal adornment. But then, the firework fell out and landed onto the floor, of which was absolutely littered with napkins. Surely a fire hazard. So we all stepped back, thinking that the bar was about to ignite into flames. and this mini inferno started taking place. But if that wasn't surreal enough, it was then that I realised that from the corner of my eye, this arm reached out, picked up the firework from this inferno, and placed it back into Dave's bottom. It was only then that I realised that arm belonged to my dad.
Oh dear.
I guess the moral of the story here is even when you're in the shit, you can always rely on family to help you find the light. So I'd like to make a second toast to family, or as we like to call it the Newnhams, Ma Familia.
Ma familia!
Ma Familia! Fast and Furious reference. Okay, so we're on the home straight now. Today, my brother becomes a man. Meg, you make Dave more happy in more ways than I ever could. You look absolutely stunning, and I'm proud to call you my sister-in-law, and I'm looking forward to many more adventures with you. Dave can join too as well. Now, if there's one piece of advice I should provide, it's the same which was passed to me at my own wedding. So Dave and Meg, if you can hold hands. Your hand on top, yeah.
My hand, what? What doing?
Your hand on top. So Dave, you should remember this moment, for it's the last time you'll ever have the upper hand. Cheers, Dennis. Nick. Congratulations on the beginning of the rest of your lives, and much champagne on one's face.
Yes.
Dave and Megan, I love you both. Mum made me say that. A toast to Dave and Meg.
Dave and Megan.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.